qualification. Oh, something was live. I think we may have an issue. Ah, no we do not. Alright, hello everybody and welcome to France for round 4 of the Freshman League. I am joined once again by the lovely
X Natty G. Hello guys, welcome back to the Freshman League. We're here for the French Grand Prix round number 4 and it is a pleasure to be here.
Certainly, we've got almost a full grid again here, so Freshman League really showing that they have the best turnout so far of all 4 of the F1 leagues that we run. Oh, as Ellison goes very far off track there, down at turn 1. But yes, you join us from Le Castellet, just a few miles outside of Marseille in the south of France. Famous for wine, if you can believe it or not, the south of France. A very nice red wine, I hear from my French friends. But anyway, we are not here to talk about wine or drink it, hopefully not on stream, Natty. We are here to talk about some Formula 1 racing with Hampton currently out on a lap here in this qualifying session. 14 minutes left to run. Got a lot of drivers so far out on the soft tyres. What do you make of that, Nat?
Yeah, interesting decision for the soft tyres. Personally, I would have tried to go out on mediums and do the one stop from the mediums to the hard. So clearly, quite a lot of the drivers opting for the faster, more aggressive strategy of the potential 2-stop, but you never know that some of them might be able to stretch those soft tyres out enough to go into the hard tyres, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and so far the fastest lap we've seen round here at the moment is a 1:28.0 when qualifying, set in the weekend league by your pole sitter there. The Academy yesterday got very close, I think the 28.2 by your pole sitter Aston F1 in that league. Just missed out on the benchmark set by the weekend league, but our Bagafrev's gone to the pole for 1:31.8. First drive to set a time, going to be a Renault. Next over the line is going to be Vinja, I think. Coming to the line now, yet 33.0. It's going to be next across the line. It's going to be Ellison, so 32.5. And we've got Hampton now, goes clearly ahead of, Hampton, Tonio even, going into the 1:29. So first car into the 1:29. And the other for Towery of Victor about to cross the line now. Where does he go? Into second place with a 30.6, but still over a second behind his teammate.
Yeah, and also RCA has been able to put himself into P3 for now on the medium tyres, so while they're 1:31 flat, so it's a decent lap from him. Wonder if he'll, with 12 minutes left in the session, I wonder if he'll go out for some more laps on the soft. We'll just have to wait and see. But Vinja and Centurials both on mediums as well, setting 33 flats and 33.4 respectively.
Yes, Infamella's now going to come to the line on his set of medium tyres. Let's see what time the Italian can do to the line now. And it's going to be a 32.3. Goes into 6th position on those mediums. So currently the second fastest car on those medium tyres. We've really seen a pick up in form from Infamella this season compared to last season. But Ace de Sabo, for the first time this season, is ahead of his teammate in qualifying so far.
Yeah, Ace de Sabo on the soft tyres, sorry. It's gone 2/10 rounders, I believe Infamella's span after turn 2 there.
But we arguably haven't seen the heavy hitters of the 2 Red Bull drivers take to the track just yet. We are getting that now though. Jutsikev in the slipstream a little bit. We're getting a little bit of a tow there from the Alpha, the Racing Points in front. Coming through now turns 9 and 10. Keep it nice and wide, come in for a second apex, potentially. Nicely done there by Jutsi, currently your points leader from Absolute in second place after the very topsy-turvy Dutch Grand Prix, which if you haven't seen, I definitely recommend you go and watch. Now through the last couple of corners here. And now for the final corner down into second gear. We'll short shift up through the gear to the line. Oh, one's a bit wide. That's going to end his invalidated this time actually, Nancy. So already fine margins. Just with the track limits already having an impact here in qualifying. It's Absolute now. It's going to be your first Rebel driver to the line. What time can he do? So 1:30.1 goes into second place, and that's a very solid lap time there from Absolute. Puts himself onto the front row on those medium tyres, so we'll be able to go longer into the race. But still, Tonios who sits on pole.
So yeah, really good lap for Absolute. Unlucky for Jutsi to invalidate on the final corner. Just didn't have the confidence in turning the car enough. They might have lost it a little bit. But had that second rotation with the steering wheel, which caused him to run wide. But Absolute currently first on the first out for medium runners. He's put himself in P2. A good lap from him. I don't know. I wonder if he'll go out again off softs. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think we're about to hit a little bit of a lull, actually, but Tunturi on the lap now as well. Not sure if this is a flying lap. It looks like it is from the finish drive. He's 3/10 up on his lap time so far, so through turn 10, now down towards sane corners, 11 and 12, now braking down into 7th gear actually. Tunturi decides to keep it in, down to 5th now. This is his 2nd lap though on those medium tyres, so maybe he had a little bit more fuel than he would have wanted in the car for that first run, but now he's got all of the fuel out through this final section now. Very awkward corner that of turn 13, through turn 14 now into turn 15, the long left-hander before the very awkward, it sets you up, sorry, for the very awkward turn 15 and back onto the main straight, up through the gears once again. DRS open, so run into line, hasn't got that much ERS left. Can he improve on his lap time? Where's it going to put him? It's a 1:32.6 improves on his lap time, but not the position in the end there, so hard luck for Tunturi. Still got several drivers who haven't set a lap time yet. I'm just checking through the penalty to see if there is a reason for that, but what we don't know, Natty, is there going to be any rain during the race, as we saw last time out, and in fact, maybe all of these drivers going out on the soft tyres really know this, or think they're not going to be able to take the medium tyres to where the rain is going to occur during the race.
Yeah, possibly. Obviously, we don't know what the weather's going to be like for the race, so maybe by the looks of majority going out on softs, we might potentially see a little bit of rain at the start. But I think if we get a few who qualify on the mediums, then we might see rain towards the end of the race potentially, or even no rain at all. It is France, quite unpredictable at some times. We had a little bit of rain towards the end of the weekend league, I believe, but not too much for intermediates, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, certainly. As a correction from before, Absolute 11 is actually your championship leader at the moment on 59 points, separated by 7 points back to Jutsi Kev, who's on 52, and R6 going around at your top 3. Speaking of the Italian, he's now on his not final flying lap, but his next flying lap here in France. So let's ride on board with him and let's take us through the lap then here at France. So down the main straight in towards turn 1, keep it to the right hand side, looking for about the 100 meter board, 50 meter board even, down into turn 1, through the gears at the second part. Oh, nearly flat out as R8 gets a tad of oversteer then, now down towards turns 3 and 4. Nicely, just missed the apex actually, R8, as Jutsi Kev goes into second place down to 29.7 on 3 lap hold mediums. Really want to start the race on those, but anyway, coming towards the end of the first section now, RC8 2/10 up in this time, almost 3/10 up, keep it flat now through this corner, down the back straight, the massive GRS zone here, this straight over a kilometre long, which is why a chicane has been put in just to break up a little bit, but now looking for the 100 meter board, bring the car onto the right hand curves. RC8 chooses not to actually, now down into third gear, over this curve, little bit of curve here, up through the gears once again, as I'm going to come towards the flat out turn 10, one of my favourite corners on this track. Just appreciate the grip of these new Formula 1 cars here. Doesn't ride the curve as much as you would maybe see from many other drivers in the league at the moment. RC8, and he knows where he needs to find the time then for his next one. He's got a little bit of oversteer once again. You saw the small corrections on the wheel. Now in towards turn 12, keeps it nice and hooks up. Took an earlier apex than one would expect. Now to the final corner here, down to 4th gear, trying to run over the second bit of curve for a later apex. Down to 2nd now, through the final corner, upshift through the gears. Going to run out of ERS before we get to the line though, but this should be an improvement from RC8, and he's going to go into pole. It's pole position for RC8, so there you go, 29.5, and yeah, if anyone's looking to upload the pole lap, well, we've got it all live on stream.
Yes, a clean lap from RC8, puts himself 200th clear on pole position, and Absolute 11 seems to be taking a lead out of one of my books, and has put on the wet tyres.
He's gone for the Ferrari master plan.
Maybe he sees the rain cloud, but we don't yet, but a clean lap from RC8, it's putting him in pole position.
Yeah, definitely. There's a little bit of oversteer there in some points during the lap as well, so I think RC8 will know where he needs to improve to get more out of that lap time, but nevertheless still a very, very good lap time then from RC8.
I believe Victor 90 might be on a lap as he comes through the final corner. I'm not sure if this is a lap to challenge for pole. We'll just have to wait and see. It comes across the line. It's a 1 minute 30.1, improves by 4/10 in his lap, moves him up into 5th place as Renault approaches the line. But Staza, he doesn't improve in his time either.
an Alfa Romeo comes to line now as well. This is Ace de Savo coming to end his out lap now. We'll be starting a flying lap, but Natty, we have got, well, I mean, Jutsy's also gone onto the wets now, but Absolute currently sat in the pits on a set of soft tyres. Whether or not they decide to use them will be interesting if they do decide to use them. I've just seen a Red Bull go out of the pit lane there on that set of tyres, so looks like all of the top 3 in the championship are going to be qualifying on those soft tyres unless they decide to back out of the lap at the last minute.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what both the Red Bull goes to do. Jutsi has set his fastest lap on the mediums, Absolute coming out on the softs. So different strategy between the two.
As Tunturi as well has improved on his lap time, but not on this position. No, he's on a lap now, sorry. As we come towards the end of the first set to 6/10 up on his side Natty on those soft tyres. This could be a very good lap from Tunturi, but let's look at some other drivers who also nibble on. Alex got a Mac now, coming through the second sector, hasn't validated though, so let's go back up here to Daza, currently in 14th position. Is this an in-lap, Natty?
I think it might be. I think he set a lap on his previous lap.
I know he is going to complete the lap, it looks like. Oh, but one's very wide down at turn 14, and that's going to mirror in his lap time. Then it looks like going to have the DRS open to the line. He's going to complete the lap. But where would it put him? I don't see him improving, Natty. It's going to be a 32.7, so it does actually improve. Goes up into 14th position. As Tunturi then still out on his lap, coming for the end of the second sector, 8/10 up. Now this could be a very, very good time from Tunturi, catapult himself up and towards the echelons of the top 10. Now coming towards the final couple of corners once again. The corners just so awkward, just have to take as late to 8th as possible. Tunturi runs it in quite hot to the last corner, takes it very steadily indeed, and come to the line now. DRS open, brings it over to the right hand side of the track. What lap time is it going to be? It is a 31.7. So goes up into P9, pushes his teammate out of the top 10.
Yeah, Tunturi moving himself up into 9th place. Ace de Sabo a few moments ago moved his way up into 4th with a 29.8 on the soft tyres and splits the two Red Bull guys, but Absolute 11 currently out on an outlap on the soft tyres. Meanwhile, Jutsi stays in the pits on the mediums for now. 3 minutes left in the session. And Jutsi's in a good position for the race if he can start on those medium tyres. Although he has done 3 laps on those tyres, so he's going to have a little bit of tyre wear on those tyres. He might go out on the soft tyres.
Yeah, he is running out of time there, Natty. 2 minutes and 41 seconds there. Get some lag from Absolute's car there, but I will be very surprised. Oh, Absolute's actually invalidated the lap. As I was going to say, I would be surprised if Absolute finishes this lap, but the decision's been made for him. He's invalidated the lap, so this lap time will not count towards his best qualifying lap, but still an improvement on last week where he did get disqualified from qualifying still, but that's very aggressive there into the chicane of turns 8 and 9.
Yeah, he's already, 17 places above where he qualified last week, unfortunately getting disqualified. But did, actually I won't spoil the race for you there, but it was a very good performance from Absolute last week. And I believe Ellison's almost about to finish his lap.
Yeah, indeed, Natty. 3/10 up on his lap time through the middle sector so far. So personal best lap from Ellison. Gets the final couple of corners. Oh, but he's had a little bit of oversteer. That's going to wreck his run to the line now. Hasn't opened the DRS. I think he knows what happened to his lap, and it's going to be a 32.1. Loses 2/10 in that final sector. But Natty, we have a Red Bull out on track. It's Jutsi on the softs. So Absolute then will not get the opportunity to do another flying lap. Not enough time left. But Jutsi now out on the soft tyres. His championship rival currently behind him in 5th, but will Jutsi want to start the race on this set of tyres? But one thing's for sure, if he wants to get this lap in, he's really got to go now. He can't afford to mess about.
Yeah, maybe Jutsi's going out on the soft tyres just to potentially get a feel for them, and if he's good enough to get pole, he might complete the lap. But starting on the medium tyres is definitely going to give him a strategic advantage, but he did do 3 laps on those mediums. He is letting traffic go, but with 55 seconds left to go in the session, he's going to want to put the foot down a little bit.
It's got Hampton now also starting his final flying lap of the qualifying session even. Oh, and that was an audacious line through turn 2. Usually I'd expect that we would see an invalidation come up for that, but not this time for Hampton. Got lucky there. Now through turns 3 and 4. Look at how hooked up the car is through there. Very nice driving from Hampton so far on this lap. Looks like a very well strung lap. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there. You see how easy it is to lose the rear around this track. Already 2 tenths up on his time, and through the first sector down the back straight now, though never ending back straight seemingly. Sometimes the camera goes a beautiful shot there of the McLaren blasting through the cornucopia of different colours of tarmac here and Paul Ricard. And now through the chicane of 8 and 9 down to second gear, misses the apex in his second part. We've had one driver improve, Savitha Mister going up into 7th position. It looked like qualifying is over then, as here comes Hampton now. He's 4 tenths up in his time through sector 2, through the flat out right hander of turn 10 down toward turn 11 now, shifting down into 5th gear into this final sector. Jutsi Kev is retired from the session, so he will not be improving on his time and will not set a lap time on those soft tyres. Let's see what tyres they have fitted now, as Absolute's gone out again on a set of soft tyres. So Jutsi will not be qualifying on the softs. He has to retire from the qualifying session. Now through the last couple of corners, through turn 14, finally in towards turn 15, down to second gear, beautifully hooked up from Hampton. Let's run it to the line now. Where does the McLaren driver go? Currently in 9th position. Where does this time put him? It's going to be 7th place. It does improve on his time by over a second, Natty. So really putting it out of the bag there at the end. We've got Victor now coming to the line. He's 8 tenths down on his time though. But will we see an improvement from the Alpha Tauri driver, potentially putting himself further up in towards the top 5? What time can he do? It's a 30.4, stays in 6th position. Let's see what else we have coming towards the line. We have a Red Bull of Absolute, who is not going to get to complete that lap. Oh, is going to get to complete that lap, sorry, because the game is broken. But Alex going to Mack as well is going to get to complete his lap. That's invalidated. But he has to really step on it now to get this lap done. Remember that even though qualifying is over, the drivers can still complete this final flying lap, because like I said, the game is broken. But yeah, Abagu Breath has validated his lap, and he's come in the pits actually. Savitha Mister has validated his lap as well. Got Hampton now coming through sector 2. What lap time is this going to be so far? Oh no, he's on an in lap. Sorry, it's Absolute now coming towards the end of sector 2 down the back straight. DRS closes. Look how aggressive he is through that corner. That's really swinging the front nose of the car in and hooking up the apex. But here we go through the second sector. What's the second sector split going to be? He's 8 tenths up, Natty, on his time. This could be a very, very good time, potentially into the 1 minute 28s. Even for Absolute now through turn 11. He's trying to get one up on his teammate and championship rival, as well as the man who currently sits on provisional pole RTA on the 29.5 through sector 2 now. What was the splits going to show? Oh sorry, no, not through sector 2, sector 3. Even now coming towards the final couple of corners down into 5th gear, trying to hook up the second part of the apex, keeps it nice and tight to the left hand side. Through the final corner now, has missed the apex, but that's no effect his lap time and the run to the line now. Let's go off board for this camera shot. Where's Absolute going to go? It's going to be a 28.6, and Absolute's going to take pole position then, but crucially on the soft tyres, not the mediums.
Yeah, Absolute, a really good lap to put him on pole by almost over a second, and choosing to start the race on the soft compound of tyre. So we might potentially see the top 3 guys going for a 2-stop, unless they can stretch those hards out, so those softs out until the hard tyres can come into play. So a pretty close qualifying between everyone. Absolute 11, 9 tenths clear of RCA in second.
Yeah, very well put together lap from Absolute. Really did what he needed to do to get that car onto pole position. But this does give us, a nice chance to have a look at the chat. So hello to Connor, hello to Black Country Mish, good to see you. Hello to Wablams. Yeah, let's definitely hope for a good race. Jojo Power, hello to you as well. I think this is the first time that we've ever seen you in the freshman league anyway. SH Sim Racing cheering for Robert Codfather, unfortunately will be the last of our qualifiers today, despite apart from Bates and Brizzy, both who didn't complete a lap. Hello to Woody. Yeah, Connor, absolute on the wets, definitely took a note out of the ex-Natty G handbook. Hello to Woody as well, and SH Sim Racing, the Triple O fan. Triple O had quite a strong qualifying, but not as strong as Absolute 11. Then he's going to be your pole sitter then for the French Grand Prix here in the Freshman League. So let's run you through your grid today. Absolute 11 on pole, RC8 nearly 9/10 behind in second. Tonio's ran at your top three in third. Jutsi Kev in fourth. Ace Sabo will line up fifth. Victor 90 will be in sixth. Hampton seventh. Sub of the Mister in 8th, Triple O 9th, and Centuri Brena will be in 10th. Outback Breffen will line up 11th, just outside the top 10. First car with free choice of tyres. Ellison in 12th, Bincher in 13th, Infamella in 14th, Tasser in 15th, Alex Gunnar Mack in 16th. Robert Codfather will line up in 17th. Last of the cars to actually complete a lap time before GSY Bates and Brucey, who will round out your grid today, only missing Willie Sanker. But yeah, Natty, so shall we talk strategy?
So, yeah, we might as well. 3 drivers inside the top 10 starting on the medium tyres, so everyone to get those medium tyres to around lap 12, 13 maybe to hit onto the hard tyres, and everyone else in the soft tyres, it's probably going to be on for a 2-stop. It's quite overcast here in France, so we might potentially see some rain.
That's certainly interesting. And will pull the car and be like every single race we've had so far. For those of you who don't know, at each of the races this year in the Freshman League, we've had the safety car on lap 1, so hopefully we won't be able to keep that streak going. Pierre is saying last season medium to hard was the best strategy, so Jutsi is looking good. I remember in the Premier Series and Super League, Napula took the medium tyres about lap 19 or something like that, and went on a set of soft tyres at the end of the race, which was an absolutely crazy strategy. But we'll be able to see anyone emulate that today. I am definitely unsure. But without the dirty air, actually, Natty, this track is quite decent for racing.
Yeah, to be fair, it's one of my, I wouldn't say favourite tracks, but I don't dislike it. And the dirt, yeah, definitely has an impact.
As Jitsi Kev in the chat, your 4th place driver has said that it's going to rain, or it is raining. That's very interesting then. So Jitsi Kev potentially has been actually caught out here on those medium tyres, unless the rain's going to be holding off for a little while to allow him to use those medium tyres to good effect.
I reckon the rain's going to come pretty shortly, because I've got my telemetry on for Absolute, and he's underfueled the car. He's got his warning light on, so potentially he's going to run lean mix until the rain comes, and he'll be able to use the lower engine mode, obviously for better traction in the wet. So potentially we might see rain come within the first few laps if he's underfueled his car. Yeah,
just checking through the grid there, and Absolute then the only driver to actually underfuel his car, and as Natty was saying, very, very insightful, Natty, nice one.
However, Alex Gunnar Mack is opted for the hard compound of tyre, so the rain might not be as close as we think.
As the predicted pit stop strategy is a 2-stop then, so a soft to a medium strategy then, soft medium strategy for Absolute there. What does it say for Jutsi if it will pop up again? That would be nice.
It's raining.
Yes, Natty, it is raining on the formation lap. This is the first time we've ever seen a weather change on the formation lap in this game, I think. I haven't even had this in career mode.
And this is really not going to help the people like Alex Gunnar Mack on the hard tyre, but Jutsi Kev on the mediums, and Sabo Triple O also on the medium side of the top 10.
What a bizarre thing to happen. That is, I have never seen this before in all my years of playing F1. We've got rain now at the end of the formation lap.
The predicted strategy for me has now come up with intermediate tyres, so
this is going to be a very interesting start. Looks like we won't be continuing that streak of we will be continuing that streak of safety cars on lap 1, but this is going to be an absolutely mental start. I think we're going to be treated to here in the Freshman League. Like I said, the racing gods seem to always throw something crazy up for this racing series here.
And if you thought time 1 was tight enough from the dry, these drivers are going to have to go extra cautious. It looks to be enough intermediates already, just riding on board.
The rain lights are on the cars. It's definitely raining very hard. All of the drivers on slicks, they're going to have to tiptoe around this first lap. Now, this could get very interesting. So ready your voice box, because here we go then for the French Grand Prix. We're going to go to 5 red lights. Got yours in Sector 3 already, and it's going to be lights out in the wet. No? Oh, Absolute's car moved for a second. There's going to be lights out and away we go into the French Grand Prix. Absolute off to a good start. RC8 off to an equal start as well. We're going to come down towards turn 1 then. No crashes so far. Absolute's going to try it around the outside of the racing, but Tonio's goes down the inside of RC8. It's raining heavily now through the first couple of corners. And Jutsy's now down into 5th position. Tries to make a move on Ace of Sabo. They run through the first couple of corners cleanly here. No safety car so far. Got an Alpha Tauri and Ferrari going wheel to wheel into turns 3 and 4. But Sabo the Minister just able to keep ahead for the moment. Then Absolute doing exactly what he needed then to lead from the pole. Has a 7/10 gap to Tony is in second. R8 is in third. It's Alfa Romeo teammate Ace Sabo in fourth. But Jutsi Kev, look at Jutsi Kev now all over the back of Ace Sabo. But it stops raining, Natty. It stops raining. As Edison now is going past Al Bagubrev for 10th position. But the Williams trying to come back at the racing point. Al Bagubrev maybe down the inside doesn't make the move so far. And Natty, we have.
Oh no, it's just lag on my phone.
Oh, so we haven't had a safety car somehow. Intimella now going past Chunchuri as well. They're going to come wheel to up and towards turn 10 as well. Just Robert Carpenter's point of view. It's raining now, Nancy. Raining again here in the final sector as Chunchuri has managed to keep the move on the Ferrari.
Yeah, pretty decent start from everyone. I noticed a bit of end
that's
plate
car
drive in turn 1.
And that
Fincher
was
has
off.
front right end plate damage, and Bruce has got down the inside of him through the fast right-hander. And that's going to allow his teammate to come through as well. Dazza and Venture, the two Renaults, going side by side to the final sector. We've got yellow flags. It's a Ferrari off.
Intimella.
And whether he lost it by himself.
You have a car in the pits, Natty. It's going to be Vincher in the pits, but no one, Natty's come in. And look at the rain on Vincher's screen. It is really starting to come down now, as we could have absolute pandemonium here. It's been a calmer start than I was expecting. We've had Hampton, and and there's the yellows in sector 1. He's gone off. Oh, and it's Alfa Romeo. It's going to be Ace de Sabo then off at turn 2. Her car's going wheel to wheel on the cannon. The Alpha Tauri. Hampton just managed to keep ahead of Victor, but we've got the rain restarting to come down now. Hampton already with a 3-second time point. Look at Tonios twitching there as R6 managed to get past him. Look at the rain, Natty. It's really coming down now. As Ace Sabo already back past Dazza. As Dazza's had an accident somewhere in there as well. We've got cars going so slowly. They're tiptoeing around this lap. And Finch has gone to the wet tyres, Natty.
Yeah, and Infomella's lost it on the exit of turn 5. So many drivers ran wide. Turn 5, Robert Codfather's also struggling to keep the rear of his car. And RC8 also. Oh
wow, look at how wet it is though. Jutsi Kev running for 5-second time penalty. Sabo the Mister's off. And he's hit the wall. Car just aquaplaning now. They're on those wet tyres. Ellison has gone off as well. Sabo the Mister needs to be careful. I've got another car. Oh, there's a Mercedes going. They have no grip, Natty. They have absolutely no grip. And you've got cars all over the place. Only your top 3 able to keep it on the road at the moment. It's got absolute. The rain gods haven't made this easy for him. Got a 2.9-second gap. This is going to bring Vincher straight back into this race. Yellows in sectors 2 and 3. No crashes. Just, out of these top 3. But absolute then. It's going to surely be coming into the pits. Or if he didn't mean to, the cars understeered him in. RC8 coming in. Everyone's coming in now, surely. As this race has just been absolutely turned onto its head once again. But not due to any safety cars, just due to the sheer weather. Oh, it's Victor. I thought he was going into the barrier there. Again, not giving me a great perspective to see that from. Absolute goes to the inters there, not the full wets for your net race. Let's see where he comes out though. As will Jutsi have to queue? Actually, no. Absolute back into the pit exit now. Let's see where Vincher is. Oh, as a racing point has stayed out now. That's Tunchuri, and surely that is suicidal.
Everyone into the pits apart from the racing point. So I don't know whether he made the call, if Jeff made the call. Venture out on the wet just seems to. I don't think it's wet enough for the wet tyres. He doesn't seem to have the grip. Ellison also onto the wet tyres. So
as he's hit, Chunchuri's hit Tonios and he's round. He just has no grip. I don't think Tonios has any damage done to his car, but going wheel to wheel there into turn 1 hasn't worked for Chunchuri. No damage done to the car though, so very lucky they're both drivers. But it just goes to show these drivers have absolutely no grip. But still, it's been an absolutely blinding performance from Absolute, who currently leads this race by 9/10 of a second though, so RC8 already gaining on his championship rival. Tonios currently sits in third, 10.7 seconds behind. Just shows you how much that incident has affected him as Al Bagubrev makes his way past Tunchuri. Now he's gone off the track again here, Natty.
Yeah, those soft tyres really not working for him in the wets. I think it's time for him to pit for intermediates. Maybe he didn't want to stack behind his teammate, but we've got Victor and Triple O going almost going side by side into turn 8, I believe this is, but Victor backs out of it for now.
Yes. Oh, it's Ace de Sabo's hit Tunturi there, just turned in on the racing point when he was still alongside, but Tunturi has to be very careful. He's going to drop all the way down the field, and this strategy really has not paid out for the racing point.
And Dazza on the, Vinci on the wet tyres, struggling for grip there, as he lost about 3 positions through that one corner. And the wet's really not helping him in the early phases of this race. As Ellison's off, and he's come back onto the track and almost hit the McLaren the bruises. He goes down the inside of Vinci. That was really close between Ellison and Bruiser there. I almost thought that was going to be a massive
As Ellison has managed to get back onto the track now, but we've got Victor looking all over the back of Triple O. We've got Hampton on the back of the Alpha Tauri as well, who can get a better exit. Got Yellows and set speed once again. I believe that's Ellison once again, but let's look at this battle now, potentially down in towards turn 1. Can make anything happen? Victor is very close to Triple O here. He's going to look for a move maybe into turn 1 on the inside line. Late braking, does make the move on the Mercedes, but he just managed to keep around the outside. But here comes Victor with a better drive off the corner with the better traction. Triple O gets a bit of a tank snapper, and Victor's up into 6th position. But here comes Triple O now potentially fighting back. Can't find the room on the inside. But yeah, Tunturi is finally made it back to the pit lane then. That's absolutely doomed his race surely now, Natty.
Yeah, he will be joining from the back of the grid. He pits for the green stripe intermediates, and that's everyone onto the wet compound tyres for now. But I don't know what happened to Tonio's, but he seems to have dropped 11 seconds behind RC8. I don't know if...
he had an incident with Tunturi at turn 1. But speaking of which, I think we've got Edison off at turn 1 again, really struggling in these wet conditions. Those full wets, probably a bit too extreme for the current conditions. But we've got Jutsi, Kev, Antonios now fighting over the final podium position. Got RC8 and Absolute currently in the lead of this race.
Ace de Sabo looking for a move on Hampton into the fast right-hander of turn 10. I believe this doesn't decide to go for anything in the wet conditions.
Yeah, Wisely decides to back out of it, but Hampton then looking for a move on Triple O as well. As actually Ace de Sabo looked down the inside of Hampton and gets the move done up into turn 11. So very opportunistic driving there from Ace de Sabo. Hampton was too focused on the Mercedes in front, and Ace de Sabo was able to capitalise. Oh, it's not over yet though, as here comes Hampton now into the final couple of corners through turns 14 and 15. So looks to the outside of the Alfa Romeo, nothing doing there, but who can get the better exit now as Triple O takes a very tight turn into the final corner. That might affect his traction down the main straight, but Ace Saba crucially has got no overtake button to use to try and get past him. He's got 26% compared to 93 for the Mercedes. That's all that matters to Ace. Saba's going to look to the inside, but just can't make the gap there.
And Jutsi meanwhile got the move on Tonio's down to turn 1. Bruce is going to try it round the outside though into turn 1 and Bates, and was able to get the move done. Used his overtake button down the straight and was able to move his way up into 12th.
Oh, but that being said, GSI Bates are coming back at the McLaren maybe down towards turns 3 and 4. Just can't make the move work. Got Victor all over the back of Al Bagubreath as well. So here comes Victor now down the back straight. Has got much less EOS, but Al Bagubreath's gone wide. That's going to give Victor everything he needs to try and get past the Williams, and does so.
And
but Al Bagubreath
fight back. He's later on the brakes, and there was close to.
But Ace Sabo now is going to go around the outside of Triple O as well. So Ace Sabo gets past the Mercedes on the outside of turn 8 and up into 7th place. But he's right behind the Williams already in these 5. Really treating us some great wet weather battles then. So Ace Sabo puts himself up into 7th place then. What can he do about Al Bagubreath in front? Obviously no DRS in these conditions. It's pure slipstream and skill.
Yeah, it's a thrilling battle here for 5th place. Victor seems to be pulling away from Al Bagubreath. Slightly to get now 1.3, 1.4 seconds, so Al Bagubreath potentially struggling in these intermediate conditions. Ace de Savo's all over the back of the Williams. As
Intermella has disconnected then, whether that will affect anything, we'll have to wait and see. But Hampton has made his way past Triple O as well, up into 8th position. Triple O just dropping through the field now, a bit like a stone in water. Oh, got yellows in sectors 1 and 2. That's a racing point off again. I think that's going to be Ellison. He's off in the first sector. Let's be careful not to join in front of another car, but Ellison is retired from the session, in fact, so RC8 needs to be careful then. As some of the misses come into the pits as well. have any moves for this battle for 5th just yet, as that Triple O trying to hang on to the back of Hampton in 8th place. Look at the cars there through the straight. Beautiful helicopter camera shot then, as the racing point of Centurion, no, of Ellison going really slowly down the straight. Hopefully that won't bring out a safety car, but yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully not for our absolute. I'm sure Jitsu Kev would absolutely love a safety car right now. Currently has closed that gap by about 2 seconds then to RC8 in front. Yellow's in sector 1. Not sure what that's for. Could be for Robert Codfather. No, just a Ferrari coming out of the pits then. Don't know why they're going for a yellow flag for that, but... Right, we've got our Baggy Breath then being pressured now by Ace Sabo. Ace Sabo's got the overtake button, but not as much as our Baggy Breath, so I don't think Ace Sabo's going to be able to make a move here up and towards the high-speed right-hand of turn 10. He's got absolutely no battery left. He needs to be more conservative. That's going to matter to Baggy Breath. Has made a little mistake. That's going to be all the invitation that Ace Sabo needs to swoop around the outside and up into 6th position.
Yeah, good move for Ace Sabo, able to find the grip round the outside. But something that I'm really quite questioning here, the rain's come quite early, and these guys are really battling away in the midfield, so how long are these guys going to be able to make those intermediates go for? Will they be able to make a 2-stop and will pit for another set of inters, or will they have to go for 2 sets of inters in this race? And they've used a lot of their ERS. Our Baggy Breath though has 100%, but quite a few of the drivers are quite low on their ERS.
Yeah, maybe potentially using up most of their ERS on lap 1 just to try and boost the traction they got from the start, maybe down in towards turn 1. But yeah, Baggy Breath has definitely been, as you said, Nancy, a lot more conservative with his ERS. Whether or not we'll see that pay dividends coming into the race, we'll have to wait and see. But if it's all well and good saving your ERS, if you're getting tank slappers under traction, then there's not really much point in having that ERS saved up.
And yeah, Ace Sabo now has closed the gap back up to Victor. About 1.3 second gap between the two. If he can get the traction through turn 7, then he might see himself a move. I'm not sure he's close enough yet. He's going to use all of his overtakes. Now down to the 1%, 0% of his ERS.
Oh, has he got a runner off though, Natty? I think it's Vinci's gone way off at turn 1. Maybe just completely missed the his turning mark. And he's got front wing damage again on those wet tyres, really not doing and giving him enough grip in these definitely intermediate conditions then. So potentially should consider coming back into the pits, but wouldn't be the first time that a questionable decision has been made on Finch's end. But here comes Brizzy then, going to look to the outside of Dazza, potentially up and towards turn 10. Dazza's going to give him the room, squeezes him a little bit, but the mechanic's going to try it around the outside, but can't make the movement. It's not over yet, down towards turn 11. What can Brizzy do here? Dazza's at a disadvantage here being on the inside. Not going to make anything work, but we've got a GSY Bates who was spun off, and if he is reset to the track, that is going to be another penalty for the Williams driver. That is explicitly banned in the rules, as Robert Codbar has had an overtake now, past Fincher up and towards turn 10. We've got Triple O now all over the back of our Baggy Breath as well. Our Baggy Breath needs to use a bit more of that ERS to stay ahead of a Mercedes, as that down the main straight they come. Here comes the black Mercedes and appearing through the murk, chasing down the Williams then, down the main straight, down towards turn 1, but can't make anything of it just yet.
Yeah, quite a few of these drivers struggling with track limits in the wets.
I think they just can't see their reference points and stuff like that. Now, see the curves really do blend in with the weather, as Triple O nearly goes into the back of our Baggy Breath. He's just so much braver on the brakes than the Williams in front. He's just got the car doing more what he needs it to do in the wet. As Vinci and Robert Codbar having a little bit of a battle there. Let's keep our eyes up on the battle for 8th position now, as Vinci's dropping through the field. He's coming to the pits, and there's a big oversteer moment for the Williams and the Mercedes. That's going to put a bit of a stalemate into this battle. Got Ace 7 looking at the back of Victor 90, but he has to be careful here. He's picked up another 3-second time penalty, but he keeps using up all of his ERS, Natty.
Yeah, quite a lot of the ERS has been using primarily in the straights. Obviously, you don't really want to be using it in the corners. That'll let's definitely light up the rears, and especially in the these wet weather conditions, we're just well, it's the definition of a spin, really. And we'll definitely add tyre wear to those rear tyres.
Oh, and he's actually hit the Alpha Tauri of Victor 90 there, down towards turn 12, sorry. And that is going to potentially give him some front wing damage. I can't see the side of the car I want to see. I can see now GSY Bates is out of the race, and that is a crash there at turn 10 towards turn 11. This could be a safety car then. The game hasn't called anything just yet. As we're going to see Robert Kokoff now come through. Let's just see. Oh, and the Williams has just gone off into the barrier there. Yeah, that looks like virtual safety car then. So will we see anyone dive into the pits then? Maybe for wet tyres if the rain is going to get any worse. So we actually haven't had a lap 1 safety car, but we've had a lap 9 virtual safety car, which is a big improvement for these drivers, especially considering the
absolute drive-through.
That is massive for this race, Natty. As Absolute, your race leader, now has a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. And that is huge. That has put RC8 up into a net lead, and Jitsi Kev is going to be tight whether or not he can overtake his teammate. Absolute can't serve that drive-through under the virtual safety cars. Bruzzi's now disconnected as well, so that could make this virtual safety car stay out for longer. As Absolute, he's going to be kicking himself about that, but the virtual safety car is in now, so we'll see Absolute ducking straight away from his drive-through, decides to stay out, but Natty, Absolute really dropping the ball then in first position, had done everything he needed to do, but not able to avoid the penalty that really he shouldn't be getting.
Yeah, driver error I'm afraid on that one, speeding under the virtual safety car. It's one of those things where he's going to feel absolutely gutted about that after leading this race pretty much from start to finish here. I don't think he's been challenged for the majority of this race. He's got a 3.6 second gap, and that's just going to be thrown away from him.
That's what I was going to say. I've got Dazzler trying to overtake the AI car of Brizzy, but very wisely backed out of it going into turn 10. But well, when does Absolute decide to take this penalty then? He has to take it at some point. He has to take it in the next 3 laps, don't forget, ladies and gents. So once you get that drive-through, it must be served within the next 3 laps with the penalty being issued, otherwise you will be disqualified from the race.
But looking at the deltas, Absolute appears to be pushing as hard as he can. I'd imagine he's going to use the full 3 laps to try and get as much of a gap to the cars behind as he can. If we look at the gap to leader, a pit stop usually takes about 20 seconds, so minus about 3-4 seconds of that time, he's going to come out probably behind his teammate Jutsis. We've got Yellow back in second.
Oh, it's Tanchuri
off at turn 10. And so Absolute, despite getting a drive-through, might come out still in 4th place.
As I think that... Oh, it's 87 now all over the back of Victor. So I think his overtake button's actually broken, Natty. I think he might have pressed it on the formation lap, but it's kept it engaged now. But Victor 90, so the horror run out of turn 3 now down the back straight. Got Yellows in sector 3 once again. Not sure what that's for, but Victor just pulling away from us. You can see Nyapamea on a straight line, so clearly running less wings on that Alpha Town, but it's not helping him through the corners at all. Just see how much that A-Star was able to close up under braking.
Absolute 11 into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty then. And so, it looks like he's going to come out behind his teammate Jitsi Kev.
Jitsi Kev coming round the final corner now. Absolute at a walking pace at 37 miles an hour. Here comes Jitsi at full pelt down the main straight. Absolute's coming towards the pit exit. Here comes Jitsi, though it could be very tight here as Absolute has come out of the pits, but he's going to lose out to his teammate Jitsi. Goes up into 2nd place. Absolute with it all to do now.
He's come out 2 seconds behind of his teammate, so despite losing 15 seconds in the drive-through penalty, he has still come out in 3rd place. So these front 3 guys have definitely put the foot down, and the guys at the back battling in the midfield, it's definitely cost them a lot of time for the front runners.
Yeah, so I think SH Sim Racing saying in the chat, the Mercedes boys are going to need some team orders soon. I think he might be right. Alex Mack has closed that gap from 5 seconds to 1.5 seconds now here on lap 11 of the very soggy French Grand Prix.
Dazzler diving it down the inside of Bruce into the final corner. Bruce is AI though, but nevertheless a lovely move from Dazzler.
As a Dazzler just definitely they're not messing around, getting past McLaren and up into 11th position.
And so yeah, as you mentioned, Alexander Mack is closing the gap for Triple O. Triple O's also closing the gap to Al-Baghdadi, so Triple O's going to want to get past Williams as quick as he can so he doesn't hold up his teammate too much. Runs a little bit wide to turn 5. And he'll be looking to get a good exit onto the longest straight on this track.
Yeah, definitely going to have Triple O, and that's going to map now together on track. But Triple O looking at the back of our baggage breath, potentially going to look to the inside, coming to the chicane, but late braking. The Williams just braked so much later. The Williams has gone off the track. That's going to allow Triple O now. Surely he has to take this opportunity, or his teammate will be coming past him very shortly. Here we go down, up and towards the fast right-hander of turn 10. Has the slipstream, has the ERS, but just, the Williams is just pulling away from us then down the straight. I think I'm going to, oh, it's Triple O drifting through turn 10. Tokyo drift style Triple O, well held. But it's going to put Alex on a map all over the back of him now. I think that Tokyo drift is about to have instant retribution as his teammate now closing on the back of him.
So a pretty nice drift, however it has cost him quite a lot of time to both Albagie Breath and his teammate, and that's not what Triple O or Alex Gunnermack would probably want in this race, both 9th and 10th. They'll be wanting to try to score as much points as they can, as Alex Gunnermack really late on the brakes into the final corner, almost going into the back of his teammate.
Oh, as Victor's gone off at turn 1, Natty. Victor's off at turn 1. He's rejoined the track, but he might be getting a penalty for that. Got yellows in sector 3, and it's Saba the Mister who's off the track. He's got no front wing at all, Natty, and he's got a safety car.
Oh,
wow. I don't know why that has been called, but we had Saba the Mister off the track. Potentially the game thinking he was in too dangerous of a place to leave green flag racing, and we've got a safety car out. So that's going to really bunch up the grid now.
Sabo drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
Again, Natty, these drivers just making a little error then with the Delta. The Delta can be a bit broken in this game. Look at the rain now. It's really starting to pick up. Will we see drivers in for the wet tyres and RC8s come in? The rain is really picking up now. It must be that changeover period. We've had one of the Alfa Romeos there. Some of the Mister is in. That's for a front wing change as well, but goes back out on the mediums. What's RC8 gone to? Jitsy's come in, but does that mean Absolute has to say that? No, Absolute's in as well. So the Red Bull cars will be stacking. RC8 is going to go to the wets. It's full wets then.
Let's see what the Red Bull boys do. It's Jitsi Kev will be served first, and it appears to be the intermediates.
And is that a massive mistake? Then it's going to be the same for Absolute 11 as well. Another new set of inters. And the Red Bull boys potentially have doomed their race here. Tonios in. Let's see what Tonios goes on. This will give us a more definitive answer as to what the right strategy is. It's going to be a set of the intermediates. And a new wing change. What about Ace Saba? What will Ace Saba decide to go on to then? So RC8, your only driver on the wet tyres. So the other driver was feeling there is enough grip out there for the inters. Sorry, Natty.
It seems to be raining, but it's kind of like that awkward point between the inters and the wets. Probably where there's not enough grip for the wets, but the inters who struggle. It's wet tyres for the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, but and a 5-second penalty to serve as well. But yeah, it's going to be wet tyres for AlphaTauri and for Ace Sabo. So both of the Alfa Romeos on wet tyres. It's going to be intermediates for both of the Mercedes boys. What about Robert Codfather now coming into pits? We're just seeing how these different strategies are playing out. So the majority of cars then going for a new set of the intermediate tyres. Obviously think there's enough grip out there. Oh, it's Robert Codfather! Oh, just didn't get the car slowed down in time for the pit, and that's going to be a 5-second time penalty. Won't be able to serve that now because he has just come into the pits. Let's see what tyres Robert Codfather goes on to then. So, as you can see from here, Natty, but it looks like it's going to be a set of intermediates.
So maybe some of these drivers are anticipating that this rain won't get heavier, and maybe it's just a short period of heavy rain, but riding on board with the front guys, it looks to be really wet in the final sector.
I would
not as wet down the start-finish straight.
Shall we play a game of what would you do, Natty?
I would go on to, I'd probably pick for the soft or the medium size.
Soft or medium?
Looking at it, it appears to be kind of like that. I would probably...
Oh, as Absolutes in again. This must be for the red tyres. He can't serve that drive-through under the safety car. So will we see Absolute in then? And it is a set of the wet tyres, Natty. It's a set of the wets.
Will anyone else follow him in? It doesn't look like it for now.
His teammate.
in that awkward crossover point between the Inters and the Wets.
But what Absolute has done here, though, he's dropped himself back out in towards the pack and still has that drive-through penalty to serve. I guess for him it doesn't really matter because with the safety car coming out, whatever happens, he will drop to the back of the grid most likely before the safety car comes in then. So, Absolute going to the wet tyres. We see Jutsi, Kevin. Will he bite the bullet and go to the wet tyres? Just seeing Weakness keeping a little bit of temperature in those tyres. So Hampton's actually stayed out on his Inters.
So interesting strategy from everyone. I wonder who got the call from Jeff to pit for those wet tyres, and I wonder what each driver chose, because some of these guys might have preferred the wet tyres. Jeff might have called them in for the wet tyres. We don't know how long this rain is going to last, or whether it's just a short period of heavy rain, or whether it will increase, and we might see what happened in Belgium last season in the Premier Series, just all heavy rain. But like we said at the start, France unpredictable with its weather, and the heavens have clearly opened here today.
Yeah, definitely. As Pierre, if you're in the chat, can you tell us if the weather in France is as unpredictable as this? I don't know what part of France you are, but I think certainly the north of France is basically the same as England. But yeah. Pierre actually saying that drivers with 10 lap inters need to box, they will get a puncture. He remembers from last week. So yeah, if you haven't seen the Super League race from last week, Pierre did try to stay out for a ludicrous amount of laps on a set of medium or hard tyres, but yeah, and did manage to get a puncture in the end. As Charles Leclerc saying, yeah, they will struggle a lot. I think me and Natty definitely agree with you up here in the commentary box. So whether or not we're going to see Hampton in the pits, is we're going to have a safety car out for another lap then. Let's run on board with Hampton, just looking through the spray now. You can just, the visibility is like nothing. As Hampton stays out, and what about Al-Baghdadi? Al-Baghdadi's going to come into the pits, Natty.
Al-Baghdadi in the pits. Anyone else? No one appears to be following him in. He didn't pit initially for a set of intermediates. He's done 11 laps on his tyres. Will he pit for the wet? I'm assuming this is going to be for the wet tyres. Maybe he's heard what Piero has said and has taken the decision to pit. And it looks to be wet tyres for the Williams.
Yep, definitely, Natty. Wet tyres on the Williams then, so we're going to send them back out on track. We'll be up behind the two Mercedes, one with the foot, and it is indeed. So Tunturi, the only other driver apart from Hampton, out on very old intermediates. Will he stay out? Will he come in? Will he stay or will he go? But here we go, now coming towards the final couple of corners, going to find out if Tunturi's coming in the pits, and indeed he is not. I thought he was, he is not.
So it turns out Vinci from the start knew all along, pitted for the wets, but then decided intermediates was the right tyre 6 laps ago. Little did he know that it might, actually the rain might get heavier, and it appears to have done so. We currently have 5 drivers on the wet tyres. So yeah,
the vast majority of its drivers still thinking that inters are the way to go. Only 5 of the 17 still left running on those wets, which is interesting. Certainly interesting.
Yeah, this, on the word interesting, this safety car restart's going to be more than interesting. I think it's the first safety car restart we've had in the wet this entire season, I believe.
And it's going to be coming up any moment now because Natty, the safety car's in this lap, so the game hasn't given Robert Codfather, Tunturi and Savo a chance to catch the back of the pack then. The safety car will be coming in this lap. And so we are going to find out who has got it right and who has got it wrong. Well, I'm very excited for this safety car restart if you couldn't tell, but we're gonna have to just wait and see as RC8 becomes the de facto safety car. Winches dropped a long way back now from the Alfa Romeo, but where does RC8 decide to go? He's going to approach turn 1 on relatively cold, wet tyres in wet conditions, as he's got a massive lead actually back to Vinci now, who is second on the road, but is a lapped car, so we'll be pulling over to the side of the road to let everyone go past, I am sure. But where does RC8 decide to go then? Coming towards the final corner, I think he's going to go now, Natty. And indeed he does. We're going to go back to green flag racing then, as Vinch, oh actually no, RC8 is gone, and he's caught everyone napping as Hampton's come in as well. And he's already got a 2.3 second gap. Vincent moves out of the way, but here comes Tonios, and absolutely going to go nearly 3 wide. Tonios now moving up into 3rd place, catching the McLaren napping as well. As here comes Absolute, looking all over the back of the 2 cars in front. Absolute now down the inside on Hampton. Can he get Tonios? They could go 3 wide here. Absolute down the inside of Tonios. Tonios breaks later, keeps the car around the outside, but RC with a beautifully timed restart then up into the 1st position. Yellow's in sector 1. No one's gone off just yet, can barely see anything from that camera shot as Vinci now just letting the cars go fraction. Now it's Victor making a move on Dazzler for 7th position as Absolute still over the back of Tonio. Those wet tyres then seem to be the right way to go at the moment as gaining on Tonios with the overtake, with the slipstream, going to look to the inside line. Tonios hasn't gone defensive but breaks later than the Red Bull and still manages to make the corner.
Yeah, it appears to be that the guys who have pitted for the wet tyres have made a few gains in this race. Victor and Ace Savo, 2 people have made places after the safety car restart. RC8 keeping it's got a 2.7, 2.8 second gap, 2.9 second gap to Jutsu Kev on the wet tyres. So Jutsu on those instances might start to struggle as there's a bit of a gap on between Tonio's and Jutsu Kev, but Absolute all over the back of Tonio's and those fresh wets. It does look to be wet weather conditions here in this French Grand Prix, and Hampton is going to really start to struggle in those into 13. The whole intermediates as he almost loses the rear on the exit of turn 13.
Yeah, that's, we actually had Brizzy, Infamella, Anton Chiri all into the pits in that safety car restart, all of them going over to the wet tyre gang. It's got Ace Savo now all over the back of Hampton. Ace Savo on fresh wets, Hampton on very old inters, and he's got no grip there. This should be a walk past for Ace Savo now down towards turn 1, but neither of them have any ERS. But here comes Ace Savo, they both know that this overtake's about to happen then. Ace Savo down the inside on the McLaren, up into 5th position as Hampton gets a 3-second time penalty for those track limits. But Absolute, despite being on those wet tyres, not able to make a move on Tonio's and doesn't have that drive-through penalty to serve anymore, but still tucked up behind the rear wing of the Alpha Tauri as Hampton has not let go of Ace Savo just yet, but surely it's a formality now as Absolute down the back straight then. Can he gain anything on the car in front? But Jutsu Kev has gained over a second on RC8 in front, so maybe the weather conditions starting to come back to the intermediate straight away. But we've got the McLaren going on the attack for Ace Savo, and Hampton's going to move himself up into 5th place. Natty, are the Inters coming back into this? The gap out in front, 1.4 seconds, 1.3 seconds. I think the intermediate guys might have got this right, Natty.
Yeah, absolutely. 11 gaining on the back of Tonio's, but like you say, the Inters against the wets, it's a really tricky call to make as it appears to be going back to Inters. I'm not too sure. It still seems to be looks like a crossover point still between the wets and the Inters.
It seems like a couple
by
of
the deltas, the Inters do seem to be quicker.
It seemed like a couple of corners ago that it was only
RC8 pits,
and RC8's come into the pit lane, and that must be for the Inters then, Natty. Just losing too much time on those wet tyres. Use the first of the wet tyre runners to blink. And what tyres will RC8 go on
also
to?
into the pits. His Alfa Romeo teammate pitting from the wet tyres at absolute 11.
And it's for Inters. It's for Inters, Natty.
Intermediates.
And so the wet tyre runners giving up on that particular strategy. Both Alfa Romeos now coming into the pits for those intermediate tyres. And this race has just been turned on its head. No, Ace Savo serving that drive-through penalty even, Natty.
So maybe he wanted to come into the pit, but then just remembered he had his drive-through penalty. Unfortunate for him, that's going to drop him right down to the back of the grid. Absolute 11 though, still managing to keep those wets in good temperature. He's still staying within a relatively close distance of Tonio. 4/10 separate the Red Bull and the Alpha Tauri drivers. Overtake is engaged for the straights. He's gaining. I don't think he's close enough to make a move yet.
Yeah, I think the Alpha Tauri just running lower wings, but has made a mistake going through the second part of the chicane now through turn 9. This is going to give Absolute a massive chance. This is as close as he's ever been to the Alpha Tauri. Got Dazzler as well, making a move on Victor and up into 5th place. This is the highest that Dazzler's won in a while. But here comes Absolute now gaining all over the back of the Alpha Tauri. Just can't make a move here. Gonna try and look around the outside, get a better cut in now, and get the drive off the corner. We've got Triple O and Victor 90 now going wheel to wheel as those wet tyres are really starting to fall off as the Mercedes nearly wipes out into the barrier there as Triple O saves it once again. But here comes Alex on the mat. Now look at the inside of both cars, and he's got the move done on his teammate, but hasn't got the move done on Victor.
So some of these guys on the inters, Victor's on the wets, he seems to be struggling a little bit, Daz is pulling a little bit of a gap. Absolute 11 falling a little bit behind Tonio, still only 8 tenths. But a lot of these drivers running really closely to each other.
Look at Alex gonna mac those hungry all over the back of the AlphaTauri. Victor's on the wrong tyres here, and this should be an absolute walk past then for Alex gonna mac. He's cancelled the overtake button on the AlphaTauri, but the AlphaTauri driver just able to keep ahead and look to the outside line. Can he brake later? Just can't manage to do it on this occasion, and he's gonna slot in behind the AlphaTauri.
And a few of the wet runners are into the pits. I'm assuming that's for intermediates.
I think that is, Natty. We've got 4 drivers in then on the wet tyres. I think they were right now. I think they've smelt the flowers and I'm going to go on to the intermediates, as you can slowly see on your screen. All 4 of those cars in the pits going to the intermediates. So that's going to be Alex on the mat, making a move on Victor 90. Oh, and there's contact. No damage done to either car, but there's contact there between the 2 cars. It's going to allow RC8 now to go onto the back of this battle. He's going to look to the inside of Triple O, and that was beautiful opportunistic driving then. And the Alfa Romeo puts himself back into 8th place. The recovery drive has certainly begun then for RC8.
Hampton and Daza, 16 laps on those intermediates. With 8 laps to go, surely they're not going to the end.
Surely not. That would be quite the little strategy if I managed to pull that one off. But Alex on the max still trying to look over the back of Victor as Tunchig gets a 5-second time penalty for crossing the pit exit line as RC8 hit the back of Alex on the Mac, and now he has damage, Natty. I know he doesn't, sorry, I thought he had damage. I saw an end plate fall off. I thought, oh, it's Alex on the Mac. Looks on the inside of Victor, but here comes RC8 now round the outside of the Mercedes. Nothing Alex could do then. RC8 up into 7th position.
Absolute pits.
Absolute comes into the pits then, so the race that seemed to have promised so much after the start, it's all gone wrong now as Absolute's going to drop out the podium. That's going to put Hampton onto the podium, as Victor's in as well.
So now it appears to be back onto the intermediates.
As then RC8 is going to get past his championship rival. Absolute's going to drop down to 9th position and now has all of the work to do to get back up into that place. But Jutsi has just been handed an absolute godsend here in terms of the championship. Came into this 7 points behind Absolute in the championship. At the moment now, he's going to walk out of it, what, about nearly 22 points ahead?
Potentially, but Absolute 11 seems to have caught the back of the Mercedes train. As Alex going to match Triple O's Ace to Sabo, all separated by about 2 seconds. Absolute on 8 laps, fresher tyres to these guys. He's going to have better track. It will take him longer to warm those tyres up. But he's tucked in nicely behind the Ferrari.
And Sabo the Mister moved way too late then. That's going to Absolute to go down the inside and into the chicane. Sabo brakes later and there's nothing Absolute can do about that, but I'm sure he won't be happy with the defending of the Ferrari, and that move was much too late. But speaking of which, it's not going to deter Absolute. He's going to go down the inside. Oh, there's contact between the Ferrari and the Red Bull, just not keeping their lines there. As Absolute's going to go up into 8th place, gets a little bit of a tank snapper there through turn 10 actually. As RC8's really all over the back of Daza. Daza on those 17 lap old intermediates, no match whatsoever for RC8 on those fresh entries. He's up into 4th position. Absolute's got past Triple O as well. But it's going to be very interesting to see. You've got Yellows in Sector 3, who's off, and it's going to be a Renault. It's Daza. And Daza on those 18 lap old inters is not finding the grip that he needs to keep the car on the track. Got Yellows in Sector 3. Is that going to be Robert Codfather? No, they've gone back to green. Alright, but anyway, we've got Triple O and Daza now. Daza just has no grip, but Triple O squirming on the exit. That's going to give Sabo the Mister a run now as well. Going to look to the outside line, down towards turn 1, tucks back into the slitch, and looks to the inside now, but just can't make the move and decides to back out of it.
Absolute 11 moving himself into 5th place. He's made 4 positions in 1 lap, moved himself from 9th to 5th on that last lap on those fresh intermediates, and will begin to hunt down RC8 as I believe Mason Sabo got past.
Got yellows in sector 3, and it's going to be Tunchuri who's gone off then on the run from turn 10 down towards turn 11, having an absolutely torrid race here this evening. But Natty, I still don't really know who may win this race, because Jutsi is on 8 lap hold inters, so he's going to be really struggling towards the end of this race. Tonio's also on those 8 lap inters, but Hampton on 18 lap hold intermediates. You've got about 7 laps left to run, including this one. RC8 5.6 seconds behind. This could still be really close. One mistake, one slip up, one spinala from any of these drivers here could, well, cause the race to absolutely flip on its head again. And what a turn up that would be for the freshman series. Once again, this series not going to disappoint. I still don't even know how the penalties are going to work out even. It's got Triple O looking at the back of Ferrari, the Ferrari in front again, as Sabo's with a little bit of a mistake, but Daz just managing to hold on in 7th position. I think he is trying to get to the end of the race, Natty.
And I've just had a quick look at the penalties. A lot of drivers have picked up a lot of penalties. However, RCA is clean on penalties for now. He's only got 1 warning to his name, so if he can close the gap to
and
Hampton,
Daz is in. And Daz is just way off the track, but he's going to come into the pits, I think. Yeah, he is.
5 laps to go. If Hampton is able to make those intermediates go to the end,
Driver of the day.
this would be some next level strategy.
Speaking of driver of the day, shall we have a look at the... No, that's the wrong one. The position changes. So, Alex Mack up 10 positions as it stands at the moment then, from 16th into 6th. Actually up 11 places as Daz has come into the pits, or is that just the... I think that might be the leaderboard. No, he is up 11 positions, sorry, into 5th position after start. No, oh, for goodness sake. Okay, he's up 10 positions now, if a game can get it right, from 16th into 6th position. Your biggest mover and shaker so far. Your biggest decrease in positions, Ace Savo down into 11th place from 5th, where he started, followed by Tunchuri, who started in 6th. But still, get driver of the day votes in, guys. Most positions gained does not necessarily mean that they were the driver of the day. It was just something to think about. Now let's go back up towards a battle. We've got RC8 and Hampton really close together on track. I don't think Hampton's going to be able to keep this though, Natty, as we've got 6 laps left to go, including this one. It could get very tasty up front. It's got absolute...
left the session.
Oh no! RC8 is disconnected and on lap 23 of 27. He'll be trying to get back into the race as quickly as possible. Now Absolute 11 closing in on the back of both of these two drivers on RC8's AI car. We've got yellows in sector 3. Oh, there's a AlphaTauri off, and it's Victor. Victor's off and he's spun round again on the top. It's a safety car!
Oh.
Late safety car here. And that's going to absolutely turn this race on its head once again, Natty. This is Hampton's chance now to try and get on a better set of those intermediate tires. He's not going to be able to keep the rest of the cars behind. The safety car will only be out for a maximum of about two laps here, and we'll probably have a sprint to the finish for about 2 laps. But the safety car on lap 23, and that is huge. You've got a Renault round as well, it looked like, from sector 1, but... Oh, that's just a safety car, sorry. That is massive for this race, Natty, and Jutsikev must be cursing under that helmet or in his living room, wherever he is in the world, because his 6.1 second gap now to Tonio's has been utterly destroyed.
I reckon there's a massive grin under the helmet of that McLaren driver Hampton, who did not pit under the first safety car. 20 laps to those intermediates. I'm sure he's over the moon that there's a safety car.
Oh, but Hampton is... Hampton came to us...
Yeah, a delta down.
RC8's back. RC8's back now.
Jutsikev's pitting.
Tonio's has pits as well, but what will Hampton do? Does he stay out or does he come into the pits? But where will this put these two drivers in relation to RC8? RC8 has to abide to the to the safety car speed limit then. Jutsikev's going to be coming out of the pits. He's going to be way ahead of RC8 here. Jutsikev then rolling down the pit lane. Tonio's is serving a penalty.
Hampton doesn't hit.
Hampton stayed out. That is very bold.
That's going to be my three race words review at the end of this race. Hampton stays out.
But Hampton could be in second place here, because he's going to jump Tonios. And has jumped Tonios. Tonios falls down to 4th. RC8 back up to the podium positions. Absolute in 5th. And has... every time we cut to the McLaren, I keep thinking we're going to see it with a puncture, but... I just don't know how to call this, Natty. I thought it had all been thrown up in the air before. It really has been now.
If those intermediates make the full 24 laps they would have done, that I don't know what to say. How can you? That must be some incredible tyre save. I wasn't even expecting the hard tyres to do 24 laps, let alone the intermediates.
Well, like I said, if you remember from last season, Hampton managed to get 19 laps out of a set of medium tyres, so this track clearly not too abrasive for the tyres. Hampton hasn't really been a driver who's made a lot of mistakes in this race, so clearly has just been able to make those tyres last, and he might be on for a podium position here.
I don't think coming into this race we was expecting the likes of a 3 or a 4 stopper. However, Hampton's got away with a 1 stop, starting on the soft, pitting for those intermediates. Ever since that rain came down on the opening laps, Jutsuko's pitted for 3 inters, and we've seen the wet tyres being used at some points of the race. I think we've had every single compounder tyre used this race.
Yes, we've had the softs, mediums, hards, inters and wets on at least one car, so at some point in the race. Triple O's picks up another penalty. I think absolutely they will be getting that point of fastest after the race, no matter what happens, because I don't think drivers in the wet were going quicker than they were in the dry.
And while we're under the safety car, we've got a vote for the driver of the day.
Driver of the day.
Driver of the day. So go get your votes in for that. But looking for penalties, Jutsukev's picked up a few penalties. Hampton has also got quite a few penalties to his name, but RC8 still only on 2. Oh, he's got 2 warnings. So 1 more warning for RC8, and he'll pick up his first penalty. Quite a few penalties for Tonios as well.
How many penalties did Jutsu and Hampton have, Nat, if you can remember?
Jutsukev has 1 penalty. Hampton has 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh no, and that could potentially ruin Hampton's race here unless there's like a massive crash in the safety car restart, which we have seen before in Zandvoort, if you remember back that race. But once again, Natty, the freshman is going to give us an absolutely thrilling climax to this race no matter what happens. RC8 then looking very good to take the win here. And that was a commentator's curse. I've got Robert Kosloff going off the track there a little bit under the safety car, but these drivers on the main straight, so I'm talking about Ace Sabo Daza at back of ref and Infamilla and backwards, need to get a move on here to catch the back of that safety car queue, because the safety car will come in this lap. We will not finish the straight behind the safety car. The game will not allow it for whatever reason, but they really need to hurry up here and get to the back of that pack, otherwise the safety car will go without them.
Yeah, definitely. Similar to China, we've got another we've got a safety car sprint to the end, and I'm sure tensions are probably going to be rising a little bit. A lot of these drivers are going to want to win. Hampton, without his penalties, is in a really good position. However, he's got 12 seconds worth of time penalties, and his tyres are surely close to puncture limit. The safety cars would have helped with the tyre wear, but it's going to be who can
safety car in this lap
the most. Like you said, the safety car in this lap.
Right then, so that group of cars I just mentioned before, Natty, coming through turn 10, I think they will be able to catch the back of the safety car Cuban, but Jutsikev, with it all to do, all the pressure rests on his shoulders now, as they're going to go for 2 laps of extreme, intense action, sprint race to the finish. Hampton on 22 old intermediates with 12 seconds worth of penalties. He needs something to happen behind him here to stay on the podium. This is going to be an absolutely insane restart here, as the freshman league once again has just had the most crazy races. Like it's honestly a treat to commentate on these races that we do have, but Jutsy's now going to lead us to the final green flag on lap 25 then of 27 in what has been an absolutely manic French Grand Prix. Around the final couple of corners now, weaving to get the tyres up to temperature. Where does Jutsy decide to go? Becomes the factor safety car, and he's gone now. So Jutsy Kev's going to... Oh, Hampton's gone off straight away, and he's in the barrier, and he's got front wing down. He's going to drop a bucket load of positions as Jutsy's going to lead us away by 1.9 seconds. Got car in the pit lane as well as RC8 now going to go real to Tonios into turn 1. Tonios making the move round the outside up into second position. RC8's been caught napping there. Here comes Absolute round the outside of RC8 as well. The two championship rivals go real to. We've got yellows in the background. The car has got damage in the background. As here comes RC8 and Absolute now. Absolute just slattering in behind. As here comes some of the Mister and Alex got a Matt going real to into turn 3.
Yeah, it's been an absolute crazy restart. Alex and Max seems to have front left impact damage, and Sabo's going to get the switch back.
As Ace Sabo and Triple O, they're pushing the Mercedes off the track. Got Sabo the Mist now up into 5th place, where will be his best finish for 2 races, where he's on the podium. As here comes Alex and Matt now all over the back of the Ferrari in front. Sabo the Mist is going to go defensive. Jitsi Kev's got on the way at the front, nearly a 3-second gap. Remember, RC8 has no penalties. Jitsi Kev has 1. RC8 needs to get on with this now. Absolute all over the back of RC8 as well. As here comes Alex and Matt in 6th position. These drivers so close together. Ace Sam's going to go for it down the inside on Hampton. There's 23 lap hold. Inter's not serving him well. He's dropping through the field now. Could drop out the points of that front wing damage as well. But Jitsi Kev still leads then as Ace to Sabo all over the back of Alex on a Mac. One mistake and it's all over for one of these drivers. Oh, and it's so late on the brakes from Alex to Sabo. The rain has stopped Natty. Ace Sam's coming down the inside of Alex on a Mac. Makes a move up into 6th place. He goes in sector 3. Oh, and there's a Renault round. It's Dazza. Dazza's off.
It's been an absolute crazy start to this. What's a crazy restart?
But look at Absolute now, Natty. Absolute on RC8. They're going to go through the final corner. Absolute not close enough. Going to start the final lap of the race. So Jitsi leads us then onto the final lap of the race. Here comes Absolute now all over the back of RC8. Goes in sector 3 again. I think Vintage is off now. But here comes Absolute. Can he look for a move with his championship rival? Leader for championship. Could overtake 3rd place in the championship. Can't do it at the moment now. He's got 2 more chances really. Triple as Hampton's got a puncture. Oh no! Oh, he's out the.
There goes his front wing.
And just has absolutely no grip left, so only 4 laps and he's reached the puncture limit of those tyres, and so Hampton will not be getting penalties and I expect he will retire from the race. Here comes Absolute now. He's too far back from RC8, just too far back then to get a move on the Alfa Romeo. So we can see if anyone else is close. Got Infamella looking for points. Robert Codfather currently in 10th in the points positions. We still don't know how the penalties are going to play out here though, Natty. As here comes Infamella now 4 tenths behind the Haas driver. Dazza picks up another 3-second time penalty. Hampton with that puncture lost in the first sector. Here comes Infamella now through the murk, and the race has actually stopped here. That's in the final lap of the race. In case you didn't need more drama here, and Robert Coffer's kept it into turns 8 and 9. Got Al-Baghdad looking at the back of Triple O now. Triple O's made a mistake. Here comes Al-Baghdad then through and towards turn 10. Jitsi still leads. I'm going to cut him in this minute. Here comes Al-Baghdad looking to the inside of the round. Triple O and it spins. Williams has spun round and he's going to lose a bunch of positions. Going to drop outside at the top 10. So Al-Baghdad falls to 12th position. That will matter one little bit to Jitsi Kev though. He's going to come through the final corner now. Hampton is stranded in the first sector with those punctures, but Jitsi Kev is going to come to the line and win an insane French Grand Prix. Tony Houston will take 2nd place. RC8 will take 3rd place on the podium. Absolute takes 3rd place on the podium at the end, beating RC8 on penalties. So the Mister is going to be in 6th. Alex Mack is going to come across the line in 7th position, and Triple O in 8th. Robert Codfather picks up more points for Haas in 9th. Victor's going to come to that's going to be a photo finish. Victor gets 8. Triple O drops down to 10th, and Brizzy is going to Brizzy goes into 10th now with the penalties. And what a race that was, as Hampton was so nearly the man of the hour. He's going to be limping now towards the line with that puncture on the rear left of that car. That is so unfortunate for the McLaren driver. Well, he risked it for the chocolate biscuit, but no cookie today, unfortunately, for Hampton.
Just having a quick look at the... did RC8 finish ahead of Absolute on track?
Yes, he did, but I think...
RC8's got no penalties, but Absolute's got a 3-second. I'm not sure what's happened there.
Well, I'll have a look at that now. Yeah, it has a drive-through. Yeah, absolutely with a penalty. This is just so that the stewards can have a look at this and maybe rectify the issue. Yeah, RC8 only with 2 warnings, so really shouldn't have dropped behind, should not be behind Absolute then, so I'm sure Gav and his team will get on that, but what a race!
We've had pretty much everything in this race. Last lap safety car, wets to dries, dries to wet, as it's
Oh, I think Natty's the LJ's cut out then for whatever reason, but like Jutsi Kev with what a drive from Jutsi. That was insane to win the race from third position on the grid, made the most of the mistakes of his championship rivals then. I was going to take the win here. Actually, I don't even know driver of the day. I don't even get a chance to have a look at the poll. But it's going to be Brizzy, well, the game's giving Brizzy driver of the day, but Jutsi takes the win here, takes a step towards his championship ambitions, even though his Red Bull teammate absolutely is on the podium. I don't think that podium will stand then. The game once again making an error, and yeah, we're gonna have just an insane season. It has been such an insane season. I mean, we've had at least 2 of the top 3 in the championship on the podium each time, but that really does not tell the story of any of these races. We've had 4 incredible races here in the Freshman League, and I really hope we're going to have quite a few more yet to come. And we'll take you through your final standings, and Jutsi Kev will take the win here. Tonio's in second. Absolute's going to round out your top 3. RC8 in 4th. Ace Sabo in 5th. Sabo the Mister in 6th. Really strong points of Alfred Mayo as well. Kind of Alex and Mac in 7th, Victor in 8th, Infamilla in 9th, and Brizzy rounds out your top 10. Then Triple O just outside in 11th. He'll be gutted with that 18 seconds off his penalties though for Triple O. Robert Codfather in 12th, missing out on points once again. Then Robert Codfather. Bagu Breathfriend in 13th, Tonturi in 14th, Dazza in 15th, Hampton in 16th, and Vincher is going to be in 17th. But actually, Natty, we didn't have that many DNFs. Only 2 drivers failed to get to the end of the race in what must have been an absolutely insane race. I mean, all the drivers getting to the end, hats off to them as well. I think Vincher got really unlucky that wet tyre gamble just didn't pay off for them. I think RCA, actually, you have that. I had the same glitch happen to me last season in Silverstone, the Premier Series. I just talked to Gav, and I'm sure we'll have your 3rd place reinstated for you, and you will get those points. But yeah, sometimes after you join, after getting disconnected from the lobby, the game decides to give you a 5-second time penalty for some reason. Just adds 5 seconds onto your race time, which is really stupid and needs to be fixed. But yeah, it's the way it is. But yeah, an absolutely crazy race. I'm sure you'll agree, Natty. As Natty's not here, professionalism 100. Oh, he is here now.
Sir?
On job.
I do apologise. I need to get a new mic, but yeah, we're definitely not expecting rain on the formation lap. Drivers pitting for inters, and then we saw the wet tyres in use halfway through the race. The wet tyres working for about a few laps before those guys pitting in for another set of inters, followed by a last lap sprints after the safety car. And yeah, not too many collisions actually. A fairly clean race from the majority of everyone. Only 2 DNFs, like you say. And I really can't wait for the next week's race.
Yeah, well, I think we've got a couple of weeks now in between France and Austria on into the same calendar as the Academy then. So next time we see you guys, it will be out in Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix. Thank you, NJ, for the great commentary comment there in the chat. We do it all for you guys. And don't forget, guys, if you did enjoy the race, don't forget to subscribe to the Gavra Racing Twitch. You can watch this race back straight away after I stop the press the stop streaming button, sorry. And if we will be in Spain tomorrow, you'll be joined by Tiger Assassin and Evan, who'll be taking you through the Premier Series action, in which Natty you are in, and in the championship fight for. But and then on Thursday, once again in Spain, will be the Super League, which I compete in. Dazza was indeed a mad race here in the Freshman. That's going to round us out here then for the French Grand Prix in the Freshman League. We're going to see you guys for the next one.